Alright, we just pulled up to our campsite. I have this handprint down towards the bottom of the door, which none of us would have done. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It's almost
Here,
like,
can you try to maybe next to it do a imitation of it?
like,
No, it's a left hand.
so like that.
Yeah. So how was your hand again?
It was like this.
Yeah, it looks like your hand was open. So, huh?
Yeah. See. I mean that.
It's pretty damn close. Yeah.
Hey everybody, Paranormal Minds with JST here, and we are here in Yazoo City at Glenwood Cemetery, which is famous for the Yazoo City Witch. Now, in May of 1904, the city of Yazoo burnt to the, well, most of it burnt to the ground. So, story and legend goes that prior to the burning, there was a witch that, in some versions of the story, would lure people to the river of Yazoo and then murder them. Others, she probably was a healer, and people still got sick and died. So, either way it goes, posse was set up to go search for her. They chased her into the swamps not far off the Yazoo River, where she, according to legend, fell into a quicksand pit, or bog, whatever you want to call it. And as she was dying, she said that she will come back and burn Yazoo to the ground. And to the day, 20 years later, on May 24th, 1904, city of Yazoo burnt. So we're actually going to walk and kind of take a look at the witch's grave. So, of course, I'm joined, as always, with Josh and Shane. Shane's behind the camera. Josh is right over there. So, yeah, let's take a look at it, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. In Yazoo City, there's a cemetery known as Glenwood Cemetery. It dates back to at least 1856, and the property was given to the city by Captain John Willis and his wife, Annie. Near a creek, there is a plaque that marks where the bodies of Confederate soldiers are now buried. But that's not why we're there. We're there for the witch. We then make our way to the witch's grave. The grave itself, the tombstone, is laying on the ground, broken in half. Some say it's because teenagers vandalized the area. Others say it could be the witch. Either way, people have now left little things as gifts for the witch of Yazoo. But if you notice on the ground around it, there are these long linked chains that stretch to each corner. In other words, caging in the gravesite. The chains have been broken several times over the years, and it is believed that the witch will break them to be released upon the city of Yazoo.
We finally start our investigation. We run a series of spirit box sessions, EVP sessions, and even some temperature tests, which with our temperature test, we got a few interesting, albeit conflicting readings.
How many people are here? Can you tell us what your names are? Is there anything that you would like to say? At all? Just talking to this device?
We get a pretty clear response during our EVP session. I hear George, but Shane hears I can or yes. You let us know what you hear.
Can you tell us what your names are? Is that whispering? Is there anything that you would like to say?
That's what I was thinking.
At all? Just talking to this device?
Here that clip is again with a little audio magic added to it. Listen very closely.
Can you tell us what your names are?
While trying to video our EVP session review, the camera's facial recognition software picked up two distinct faces over Tommy's shoulder, as you can see here. So we decided to go where these faces were and conduct yet another EVP session.
Is anybody here with us? We saw that our camera was trying to focus on you. Could you please acknowledge that you're here? Were you curious about what we were doing?
We get another response here. Sounds like a yes to me, but let us know what you think.
Go back to the very end of what you just said. Like the split second you stopped talking.
Thing with them. Yeah.
What is this? Oh.
Some shit he recorded from before.
Alright, we're recording.
Alright, so listen right when you stop
Anybody
talking.
here with us? We saw that our camera was trying to focus on you. Could you please acknowledge that you're here? Were you curious about what we were doing?
Did you hear that?
I heard like yes.
That's what I heard.
Oh shit. From here we head to explore Yazoo City. Yazoo City was founded in 1824 with the original name being Hannah's Bluff. It later was renamed to Manchester and then changed its name to Yazoo City in 1841. It went through the Civil War as a makeshift shipyard. During the Civil War, it was heavily destroyed. Finally, they rebuilt the city to only be hit by yellow fever. But as you can see, the buildings, even though they're colorful and all that, they're still old and in need of repair. Is this because financial issues, or is the curse of the witch still strong today?
We finally make our way toward the campground for the night. It's an abandoned, overgrown campground that we feel is fairly close to where the witch would have lived and died. The first thing we notice is an awkwardly placed handprint on the car that seems to be just under the dirt that was stirred up from the gravel road we were driving down. Now, we could not entirely debunk this, but after some deliberation, we think it could have been placed there while we were putting air in the tires earlier that day. We then set out to set up camp and discover a few very off-putting things, including what appears to be a link from the chain that was actually around the witch's grave.
Now, you're not... Tell us about that knife you found.
Yeah, the knife we found over there, amongst the zip ties that have been cut off of possibly someone. Yeah. Feel real safe, Shane. Feel like this is all you're doing.
Right. Last time you let me pick a campsite.
Right? A little nervous.
Little
Nope, it didn't stick.
animal remains on the picnic table.
Let me try to figure out. Like,
What did we have? Some sharpened deer antlers here?
do I want to be like right here? Because that's where the zip ties are. And I don't really feel comfortable being right there. I don't. So,
What do you have against zip ties?
oh, Blair Witch.
Did the Blair Witch use zip ties?
Maybe. I don't
Put it
fucking.
at the end of mine, Tommy.
Huh?
Just put it at the end of mine.
Does
Is that the chain from the witch's grave?
does that not look like it though?
It does.
Oh, hold it.
Like that's insane.
That's wild. What are the odds
So
of
this
that?
was This was
This
in
is
the
just
ground.
this is just in the ground.
While Josh and Tommy were setting up this tent. I mean, that definitely looks like a link of it.
Yeah. We, of course, decided to ignore all these ominous warnings that we needed to leave and continued to set up our camp. We waited until nightfall and began our investigation. All of our equipment started failing immediately. The first piece of equipment to go was the spirit box. The sweeps decided they wanted to slow down, but we did get consistent heat readings on it throughout the time using it. Our EVP sessions were very odd. There seemed to be no space on the recording in between our questions, therefore nothing was picked up on it at all. Our cameras then started to fail. One of our X cameras here refused to record video and then eventually just stopped taking photos altogether. And our night vision high 8 camera here started to glitch out more and more frequently. We have not experienced any issues with any of this equipment before or after this investigation. You'll see a screenshot here of photos from my personal cell phone. The photos I was trying to take kept diminishing in quality until eventually it would only render an empty file. That would be this white square you see here. And for the rest of the night, every picture I tried to take turned out exactly like this. While all of this was going on, we felt extremely uneasy. It felt like we were surrounded. It felt like we were being watched from all throughout the woods around us. It got so bad that we actually went in search through the woods to make sure there wasn't anyone else out there. You'll see a clip of that video on our last piece of working equipment, which would be Josh's cell phone. We finally returned, and the feeling of uneasiness never went away, and a truck of people actually pulled up. This is the middle of the night, and told us that was their campsite. Due to the experiences we were having there, we decided to not even argue and packed up and left. All in all, we got a few pieces of evidence, but the experience we had in this place was unlike anything we had ever had. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, these are just our thoughts and experiences. Let us know what you think.